After everything that's happening with XRP, the Ripple court case, do Ripple owe XRP holders some sort of explanation as to why some of these things in the court case, the institutional sales, there's been an injunction put in place. This injunction is, it's ruled in the favor of the SEC to say that some of these actions that Ripple have been taking haven't been good. And that poses a question in XRP holders as is this company leading us on? And we've noticed that over the years, Ripple's communication with us as to what they're doing next, their business plans, hasn't been communicated with us at all. And so therefore, we can't know that any shifts that they make in their business is a reflection or can reflect positively or negatively on the asset that we hold. Now, the difficulty here is that we have invested in XRP because we believe XRP to be Ripple to be almost like a upstanding company, and we think this is in a growing area and the business is going to grow and this whole ecosystem is going to grow. But we also at the same time can't be involved in XRP with an expectation of return. Otherwise it's then a security, and we know XRP is not a security. So it gets in this really complicated situation because legally, do Ripple owe us an explanation of what is to come in the new landscape of the regulatory landscape? Do they owe us an explanation of what they're going to do so that we can have a better vision of the future? And legally, the answer is no. They owe us absolutely nothing legally. We are XRP holders. We are not shareholders at Ripple. If we were shareholders at Ripple, they would owe us an explanation. But we're not. Now, there'll be many of you that hold pre-IPO shares in Ripple, and even then, you are not owed an explanation. It's only shareholders, because it's not a publicly traded company. So they are private, which means they can keep their workings private. But there's other elements to this. It's not just the legal argument. We also have the argument of ethics. Ethically, morally, do they have an obligation to tell us what's coming down the line? And I would say yes. I would say yes because of how Ripple and the XRP army have been publicly in the public sphere for defending Ripple, certainly two together as one. Having the whole proper party thing in New York, which was a lot of fun, of course. But that was a coming together of Ripple and XRP holders who supported Ripple through that whole process. And in that capacity, because we have supported them so much, I do think they owe us a little bit of an explanation as to what's coming. When the idea of different this court case ruling and how ODL might be affected in different jurisdictions, or the plans that they have for different features or features that they plan to sell as products as Ripple. We should have a little bit of foresight as to what that is, because I feel like we've earned it. But that's it. We've only earned it. We haven't, I know it doesn't make sense legally, but it's something we've put time into and money into that we should have some sort of benefit from. And that benefit that I'm discussing here is a benefit of understanding and foresight and knowledge from Ripple. Because ultimately we're holding these assets because we believe it to be the future. But if we don't have sight of the engine that's fueling this future, being Ripple, and what that engine's doing, what's on the GPS, where you're going, the support will start to dwindle. I will say that much. Support will dwindle when we don't have any knowledge of what's coming. We know conceptually what's coming in terms of the financial landscape, but I do feel like there's a little bit of, there's a lot of, how shall I say this, cloudiness in understanding. And all it would take from Ripple is just to kind of put out a few pieces of it, a few tweets, just to say what's going on. And I know maybe this is something that happens when Ripple go public. Maybe they're more open about these things, but I think it would be very useful to XRP holders right now to have access to some stream of information about Ripple outside of a quarterly report type thing. Let me know what you think. If you think that's a smart thing to be asking, then let's ask. You don't get if you don't ask. So let's ask people at Ripple on Twitter everywhere for a little bit of an update, see if they give it to us. So, legally, no, Ripple don't owe us any explanation. This is just it's almost like they created a product to use a technology, and one of the elements of the technology is what we're involved in. So I know it's layers deep, our involvement with Ripple, but still, we've supported quite a bit over the years. So here's my list of questions, and I'm thinking off the top of my head here. I haven't written these down, but Ripple, if you do watch this, what's the plans for on-demand liquidity, or whatever you've renamed it to, for the near future? Here, jurisdictionally specific. So what's happening in the US? How is that different abroad? What is the role of kind of XRP in that new product as well? Do you have any pressure from regulatory entities to even perhaps develop new technology? Because I think if we admit there are many arguments for the idea of creating a blank slate and starting again with a new piece of technology, a new crypto that didn't get into the hands of the retail investors. Like, can you talk about that? I'd be interested to know. This question, and also, if you are from Ripple watching this, look below. Look for some inspiration for questions below. There'll be a never-ending stream of XRP holders who have supported Ripple over the last years, asking their own questions that need to be considered and thought out and acknowledged. I'm not angry at Ripple. I just think there's a few more things Ripple could do to kind of ease the landscape, give us a bit more like direction, and let us know that we are part of something that we suspect we're part of, being that new financial future. It's just a little bit of the silence doesn't instill the greatest confidence in the majority. And I know that, as you know that, Ripple, because I see all the data, I see comments, I get so much data. Kind of, if you think about it, the data I get, most people don't get, because I get all the views into one person. Whereas if you're a normal viewer of a video, you don't get all the data from lots of people. You get it from one person. So it's kind of, if I'm at the bottom of the triangle, I'm sharing the content to people. So it means you get my data, and so you get my data, which is one person, and I get your data, which is like 20,000 people every video. So I get access to this data, and I've got understanding of the sentiment of the market. And I just think some Ripple clarity would be great for the market right now. Yeah, I just find that relatively interesting. So if all of this information, and you're an investor, and you've got a good chunk of money in crypto right now, I think it's worth exploring the idea of the limited nature of time and how we're all running out of it, and some of the steps you can take to both have assets for the long term, the bigger price appreciation that you might have with assets that we hold. You want to take into account that you have that, and that can grow exponentially over time. But you also want to be aware that how valuable is the next 10 years to you? Do you want to wait 10 years to not take any benefit from crypto? The answer is likely, if you're on the same wavelength as me, is no. Like, I don't want to wait 10 years. My daughter's going to be 13 in 10 years. And at that point, she's not going to want to have anything to do with me. Right now, in this golden time that I have with her, I've got to be protective of my time. So I've got to understand that, holidays and quality time together cost money. And if I want that money, I've got to take some profits. And if that aligns with you, and you've got a good chunk of your, crypto, you've got, I would say $30,000 and up in crypto, and you just want to take some off the table to enjoy some life, you've got to know how to take it off the table. You've got to know the plan of action. Without a plan of action, emotions come into play and you don't do anything. In one of my videos this week, I don't know whether it's out before this or after this, I'm going to tell you a story about a student in my program who watched it all go up and watched it all come back down to drastic numbers. And I just fear that is going to be the case for most people without a plan. He had no plan. He watched it go up, he watched it come back down, and he's just not making that same mistake again. A plan of action is the fix to that. If you're interested in creating a plan of action, I want to urge you to put the number 66 in the comments below. Every video I'll have a new number, so 66 I just pulled out of my head right now. And I'll get back to each and every one of you that comment 66 to help you along that process to figure out how to create a plan of action, an exit strategy, a take profit plan that caters for you in the future and also in the short term. That is the number one priority right now. I'm going to call this take profit season. Even though we're not taking profits right now, perhaps, maybe some of you should be. And because I think a bull run is right around the corner, I'm going to prioritize YouTube content. Certainly with this week, we'll play it week by week, but you'll see videos of me quite rapidly popping up here throughout this week. I think it's important to get this message across about taking profits. There is an amount of money, there is an amount of crypto that you are happy to take profits on while still filling that space in your heart for the long-term price appreciation of these assets. There is a percentage there. Clarity on what that percentage is probably the most valuable thing you can do right now. So while we're in the take profit stage, the stage where we should be thinking about taking profits and planning for it, I'm going to keep posting videos as much as I possibly can. It's almost a sense of urgency from me, yes, because I think it's right around the corner and people just need a plan. If you have no plan, you have no profits. Oh, I like that. So 66 in the comments. I'll get back to you and tell you what you need to do next to kind of develop that conversation. Yeah, that's all.